Okay, I think I introduced myself in the previous presentation already, so sorry about that. But my name is Victor. I'm the head of AI and ML solutions at Cloud Office. And I would like to start today with a very interesting story. You see, a few years ago, a group of CEOs from some of the most powerful tech companies in the world started a secret betting pool. And specifically, they were betting on when we are going to see the first single person $1 billion company, right? And in the beginning, of course, this seemed quite outrageous because we know what it takes to build, a unicorn. But I don't think anybody in the tech world currently thinks that this is something outrageous. And it's not going to be because one person is going to suddenly start doing the work of 500 people, but it's because this one person is going to be able to delegate this work to a workforce of AI agents. And this is because AI is quickly shifting from responding to prompts and just being intelligent to actually doing things. And it's very important to accentuate on that. And the reason why it's important to accentuate on that is because we need a very big shift in our mindset as well. Because if you think about it, all the conversations around AI for the past 2 years have been about intelligence. We keep asking the question, which model has the best reasoning capabilities? Which model has the biggest context window? And this is no longer going to be key to transforming your business. Because no matter how smart a model is, it's never going to organize itself automatically into a workforce that is efficient and it's going to transform your business. I mean, think about it. So imagine that you hire 500 professionals who are very good at what they do. And you place them in an office, but you don't have any structure around them. You don't have any management on top. You don't have any roles specifically. You don't have any tasks. You're really not going to get any results. You're going to get complete chaos. And it's going to be the same thing with agents and with AI. If you just put 500 agents on a server, you're still not going to get any results. So what I want to do today is I want to show you exactly how this organization can happen, how you can organize AI into an efficient workforce. And the way that I'm going to do this is I'm going to start with the most basic possible agentic solution that you can build. And then I'm going to gradually introduce additional layers of capability on top of that. And every time in which I introduce an additional layer of capability, I'm also going to show you example interactions of agents that I've actually built for this specific level. And bear in mind that these interactions are going to be packed with a lot of text. So they are meant for somebody who is watching this on video so that they can pause and actually read through the entire text. But for the rest of the audience, if you just see a black screen with a lot of text, just listen to my narration as I'm going to go through it and don't read everything which is on the screen. So, what is the simplest possible agentic solution that you can build? I'm now going to give you a very simple framework to think about this. So if you look at the slide here, we have two sections, right? On the left, we have our digital workforce. Currently, there's just one agent there, but this is quickly going to change. And on the right, we have the arsenal of all the systems and tools that this agent has access to. This is also blank currently, but we are gradually going to start populating this. So this is exactly the simplest thing that you can build. You have one agent. This agent does not have access to absolutely anything. And I would like to call this agent the consultant, because essentially it's what it is, right? A consultant who can be brilliant. He can answer your questions, but he's very limited in what he can do because he's not an employee. He doesn't have access to your company information. But just because of the fact that this is very simple doesn't mean that it's useless. So I'm actually using agents like this all the time in my everyday work, and I actually save quite a lot of manual work from doing this. So I'll show you an example that I built in AI Studio. Now this example, what it shows is an agent that would take some collection of sentences that I had in mind, which are not very structured. They might sound a little bit emotional, and it's going to automatically turn them into a professionally looking email. Right? And if you think about it, if an email normally takes 15, 20 minutes, with an agent like this, it's probably going to take 5. So in general, using agents like this at this level would make tasks about 4 times faster. So every 1 hour of work that you spend on using agents like this is going to be equivalent to about 4 hours of manual work saved, right? And of course, we said this is very limited. It doesn't have access to anything. So now imagine that we take this consultant, we give him some corporate laptop, and we let him inside the office, right? Now he becomes an employee. And I would like to call this employee the generalist, right? So he would have access to your Drive, he would have access to your email, he would have access to your calendar, he would have access to your Jira systems and Confluence systems and anything that you can imagine. And now we have a jump in the capability. Because now any sort of work that requires research based either on internal data or online data can now be done by such an agent. So imagine tasks associated with building presentations or creating reports. All of these can be automated with agents like this. And the example which I'm going to show you is going to be with an agent. This is built in Gemini Enterprise. In Gemini Enterprise, as you can see here on the screen, it's very easy to just, with a couple of clicks, connect with all your systems, whether this is Jira, Confluence, Drive, so on. And the agent that I'm going to show you as an example here today is going to help me prepare for meetings with potential clients, right? So I would paste the prompt like this. I would say I have a meeting with Vodafone in 45 minutes. Can you help me prepare? So the agent is going to do three things. First of all, it's going to go online. It's going to check what the latest news associated with Vodafone is. It's going to take to look in our internal documents, see what services we're currently offering and what we're doing. It's going to match both things, and then it's going to give me some pointers for where to take the conversation. So it can be very useful. Still nothing impressive, still something that you can build in a few minutes in Gemini Enterprise. But now, because of the fact that most corporate work, if you think about it, is associated with research. It's associated with finding the correct data, stitching information together, comparing information. So now we have a jump. So from 4 hours saved of manual work, we're jumping to about 12 hours. Every 1 hour which we spent with agents like this is equivalent to about 12 hours. So the generalist, there's a reason why I call him like this. He's called a generalist because he doesn't have any specialized knowledge in anything. He can access a CRM system, but can he work with the CRM system? Can he create a ticket there? He can access your data, but can he make a forecast model based on this data? Right? He can access your knowledge base, but if you have 1,000 files in this knowledge base, is he going to know exactly where to look? So for this, you need something which is more specialized knowledge. You need a specialist. And this is going to be level 3, the specialist. The specialist is the first big jump which we're doing. And here I would like to take a step back and just give you a little bit of context. You see, the whole reason we're speaking about language models today and agents in general is because of a paper which came out in 2017, which was released by Google, which shook the entire world. This paper gave us the capability to translate the meaning of words and sentences into numbers, right? This is what we call the transformer architecture. So imagine, for instance, the word pasta. Pasta would be very close in numbers to the word Italy, and maybe it's going to be farther away from the word Germany. So every sentence and every word now has numbers associated with this, and these numbers have semantic meaning encoded inside. And this changes everything. Have you ever wondered, for instance, why search engines are becoming so good? So if you go to Google and you type something like, I cannot sleep, you're probably going to get results related to insomnia, even though you never use the word insomnia in your search. Because we're no longer matching words, we're matching ideas. And these same powerful search capabilities can now be granted to agents through a process known as RAC. So they can search through hundreds of thousands of documents and find the correct information when they need it. And the other additional thing that we have here is the usage of tools and systems. He can now enter the CRM system, he can create a ticket. He can use a cloud function to query your database. He can use applications such as Google Maps, right? He can use forecasting models or any other type of AI models. So he can do a lot of things now. So one popular use case that I'm going to show you is for an assistant of customer support representatives. So this particular customer support representative was working for a producer of coffee machines. And he received a very strange case from a customer. The customer complained that the coffee machine broke down, caused some damage, and he wanted a refund for that. So what the agent did is it went through the entire database of all the tickets that were ever created, which were probably 100,000. It found 2 tickets which had the exact same issue. Based on that, it found that the customer is actually eligible for a refund. Then it went and processed the refund. Then it also went into the CRM system and changed the ticket there. So all of this work that normally requires a long time by a customer support representative can now be done and automated through an agent, right? So now, because of the fact that we're dealing with all type of administrative and manual work which involves hopping around different systems, we again have another very big leap. So from 12 hours now, we jump to about a week, to 40 hours, right? Now, of course, I don't want to be Captain Obvious here, but the limitation of the specialist is that it has very specialized knowledge and stuff. It's normally good in one thing. And there is a reason why people work in teams, right? People work in teams, and there's a reason why teams have synergy. So multiple specialists would form a team. So this is the first time I'm going to introduce to you what we call multi-agent systems. So there's multiple agents working together. There's normally one agent on top who would be the manager. He would be routing, tasks to the appropriate specialist, and he would be managing them. We also need to add interactions there between the specialists themselves, because they need to be working together. So there's one concept which is called critic refinement loops. Imagine a specialist produces something, another specialist reviews it, sends it back for corrections, and they have this feedback loop which happens between them. And now all the output and all the results become much more reliable. So an example that I will show you here is with a campaign orchestrator. So this is an agentic system which helps us organize campaigns. There's one manager on the top, there's a copywriter, there's a visual designer, and there's also a compliance expert. So let's say you're doing a product launch, and you make a picture of your product, which is unprofessional, and you want this agent to make it look a little bit more professional so that you can use it for your website or any other place. So the manager would receive such a request, he would evaluate it, he would know that this is a suitable task for the visual designer, so he would send it to the visual designer, and the visual designer is going to produce this image. Now, if you wanted to write a post, let's say on Instagram, it's going to send it to the copywriter. The copywriter is going to produce the post, but then it's going to send it to the compliance reviewer so that the compliance reviewer reviews the post and sees if everything is okay. It can send it back for corrections, and then after some back and forth, you're going to get the final result. So now we have an entire team, the mechanics of an entire team, and even multiple teams, sometimes working at this level. And now we're solving one of the biggest friction points in companies, which is all the back and forths that happen between teams, all the waiting, and all the approvals and everything. So now we're jumping to about a month. And I mean, I know that these numbers sound as if they're out of the bloom, but if you think about it, you don't always use these agents, right? It's not like anytime you can sit down and just spend 1 hour and just save 160 hours. But that's ad hoc. But if you find an agent for doing everything, suddenly your productivity is going to start increasing exponentially. And now, multiple specialists form the team, right? Multiple teams form an enterprise. So what you can see here, what changes, is that these avatars of the specialists now appear to be stacked. We appear to have multiple specialists behind each of them. Because if you think about it in an enterprise, what happens is that you have a lot of employee turnover. You have new teams appearing all the time. You have people changing qualifications. So there's a lot of changes happening depending on the task at hand, what's happening with the enterprise. And the same thing can happen here. So to explain this to you, I want to explain to you a concept known as map-reduce operations. I want to explain it in a simple way, and then I'm going to show you an example. So imagine that you have a very big document. Let's say it's 1,000 pages, and you want to summarize this document, right? An agent cannot do it because it doesn't have a large enough context window. So one thing that you can do is you can create automatically 100 agents. Each of them can take a small portion of this document. He can make a small summary, and then there's going to be one agent which is going to aggregate all the results. And now with this technique, there's really no limit to what we can do with the data. So one example that I would show here is an agent which we asked him to go through 25,000 free text responses from a customer post survey and summarize the main 3 pain points of customers, and also give what the 3 main points are per region, right? So it can go through all these free text documents and extract everything from them, which was a task that was impossible before. And this is a simple example, but if you think it about more complicated situations where you have, let's say, supply chain management, where you have to deal with multiple things in the same time happening in parallel, these agents can be deployed in such situations. So now this number is really becoming very hypothetical, because we are already outside the realm of what's humanly possible to do. But if I had to be very conservative about it, I would say that this saves about 3 months. But there's actually one more level to this. And, right, the enterprise is not really self-sufficient, if you think about it. It just depends on a lot of external things which are happening around it. It depends on partners, it depends on entire markets, it depends on customers, it depends on logistic networks. So there's a lot of things which are outside of the control of the enterprise. So we have multiple specialists form a team. Multiple teams formed an enterprise. And now multiple enterprises form an ecosystem. And this is where we enter what we call agentic commerce. All the transactions which are going to be happening between customers and companies through agents, or businesses and other businesses through agents, this is the era of agentic commerce. And just to give you an idea how significant this is, we've been citing McKinsey a lot today, but there's another study by McKinsey who are projecting that agentic commerce is going to mediate between $3 and $5 trillion by the year 2030. So to put this into perspective, the entire global economy in the world adds less than that in a single year, right? If you think about the average global economic growth rate in the past few years. So this is huge, and to understand why it's believable, we have to ask ourselves the question, what problem is this solving? Because it solves a very big and widespread problem. So let's look at it from the point of view of an online shopper. So imagine this online shopper who needs to be in Berlin by Friday. He needs to buy some airplane tickets, he needs to book a hotel, maybe he'll be attending an event, so this hotel needs to be somewhere close to the event. And let's say that he wanted to buy some boots that he already likes. Now he needs them because it's going to be raining in Berlin. So the next few hours can be very hectic, right? He would have multiple tabs opened, he would be comparing flights, he would be comparing the ratings of hotels, he would be opening up Google Maps to see the location and see if it's good enough. He would be looking at sites where he can buy the boots that he likes, return policies, coupon codes that never work. You know, it can take a few hours. And all of this is gone with agentic commerce. You just go, you state your intent, you write a prompt, and the agent does all the work for you. And in the end, it issues something like this, like what you see on the right side here. This is what we call a tokenized mandate. So instead of handing your credit card number to the agent, your bank issues this mandate, which authorizes the agent to make a specific purchase about a specific product from a specific website, and this is going to be valid for a limited amount of time, right? So you can be safe in doing this transaction. But the reason why I don't have a demo today is because this technology was not possible until January. January, Google released a technology which shook the entire world. Let me explain this to you. So imagine you're a merchant, right? Do you need to build an integration layer for these agents? And do you need one integration layer for Gemini's agent, and maybe a different integration layer for ChatGPT's agent, and maybe a different integration layer for another language model? Well, if you think about it, a very long time ago, we had a similar question regarding browsers and websites. Right? Do you need one specific version of Safari to enter one website and a different version of another browser to enter a different website? No, because HTML solved all of that. Right? So now the HTML of commerce came out in January, and it's what we call the Universal Commerce Protocol. So this is now saved. And you know, it's not just one online shopper buying stuff online. These agents are changing the entire way that commerce works. They can negotiate discounts, for instance. They can be involved in what we call collaborative commerce. So let's say one merchant does not have a stock, then he can contact the agent of another merchant and source the product from there, right? They can, this scales to the entire supply chain. Let's say the hotel room that you booked has a problem with maybe the air conditioning system. Now the hotels agent is going to contact the supplier, which is going to provide the parts for the air conditioning system, and it's also automatically going to find the technician to fix it, right? And just the final point here. What's important here to think about in this case is that we are no longer going to be fighting for winning attention from humans. It's not going to be, it wouldn't really matter how much your website looks beautiful. Search engine optimization is not going to play that much of a role anymore. What you're going to be finding is to be eligible to be selected by agents. And this depends on how quick your website is. So you need to have a reliable infrastructure. This depends on having structured data that is being accessible. And this is exactly where a company like ours helps, because we can build the infrastructure, we can build the intelligence layer on top of it, which includes all the agents that I showed you here that can be developed. So if you would like a free consultation with us, feel free to also scan the barcode, and I'll be happy to have a personal conversation with you. Thank you.
Thank you.